This is the iPad mini first generation, Apple's take on the low-end, smaller tablet market. And in this video, I'll be answering a question and helping you decide whether you want to buy this device in 2016 and is it still worth it. Initially, this device cost 459 to 659 US dollars depending on the variant you bought, whether it was Wi-Fi plus 3G or 16 to 64 gigabyte capacity options. But now this currently goes for $120 to $250 on eBay and Amazon, but the mean would be around $180 for a good deal. So you expect around something $150 to $180. Don't expect to buy a new one because that'll set you back around $900 because of the value of the device being new in 2016. So expect around $180. As for build, the dimensions of this device are 200 by 134.7 by 7.2 millimeters. It weighs 312 grams, and as being an Apple device, its build quality is not one to question. As usual, always premium materials, premium quality in terms of build. The back plate is made out of polished aluminium and the front plate is made out of glass. It feels great in the hand, it's great for one-hand use, and critics back in 2012 praised it for being a smaller alternative to the larger 9.7-inch iPad, where some people usually prefer a smaller iPad. This device initially shipped with iOS 6 and is now finally upgradable to iOS 9.3.5. Apple was planning to upgrade this to iOS 10, but then in fear of the device becoming unusable with iOS 10, cancelled the update at the last minute out of fear that these specifications won't be able to handle iOS 10. For app support, you can expect roughly another 2 years, maybe 2 years max of app support. Maybe applications like YouTube and Facebook would go a bit longer, but general app support for iOS 9.3.5 just roughly around another 2 years, expect that. But then even after 2 years, your system apps are still going to be there for you. You have iBooks for reading, maps, clock reminders, all that, camera, FaceTime, stuff like that. And most importantly, the mail app will be still there, so you can use that. So expect another 2 years of app support, that is from 2016 to 2018. As for display, this device has a 7.9-inch LED backlit IPS LCD capacitive touchscreen, which has a resolution of 768 by 1024 pixels, which gives it a rough pixel density of 162 pixels per inch. It supports multi-touch and has an oilophobic coating for protection. These are some stock photos that came with the device. As you can see, they are pretty clear, but the 162 pixels per inch pixel density blurs out when you go closer to the device, as it's not as high res enough and you can see the pixels at close proximity to the screen. As for specifications, this device does not come with a memory card slot. It has internal storage capacity options of 16, 32 and 64 gigabytes with 512 MB of RAM. Its chipset is an Apple A5 dual-core 1 GHz Cortex A9 processor with a GPU which is isolated. It's a dedicated GPU on its own, unlike these days where the GPU is built into the CPU with newer devices. I ran Antutu benchmark on this device and it got a total score of 16,269, with 3D being 1,114, UX being 6,485, CPU being 6,209 and RAM being 2,461. As for gaming, you can expect to play some lighter titles like this, which is Skyforce Reloaded. They're not that graphic intensive. Pokemon Go works surprisingly well on this device. I had only a few crashes on it. I can't play Pokemon Go on this as it's a 3G device. So if you want to play something like that, you better get a 3G device. Had a few crashes on it, but it worked kind of okay. Higher end titles like Asphalt 8 and Need for Speed, they won't play well on this. There's a lot of stutter, but online campaigns are just unplayable. But I found it to be that if you can tolerate the bit of stutter, the general campaign modes are totally fine. But online gaming, it's just impossible with this anymore. the device keeps crashing, but expect to play some lighter titles which also within another 2 years probably won't be playable. So basically don't expect to get this for gaming at all, because in time it's not going to be supported. The camera on this device is a 5 megapixel autofocus camera capable of 1080p video recording at 30 frames per second. The secondary front facing camera is a 1.2 megapixel camera capable of 720p at 30 frames per second. It has face detection, FaceTime, and FaceTime over Wi-Fi or cellular. Here are some photos what I took with the device. For a 5 megapixel shooter from 2012, this is what you can expect, but don't expect to take any great shots with this. But this is totally fine for a Snapchat story or just a random Instagram photo, and the front camera is just perfect for Skype calling. And here's a video sample I took. I'm sorry, this is not at 1080p because I could not upload this video at 1080p due to my data restrictions. So this is at 720p, but expect a maximum video recording of 1080p. The battery on this device is a non-removable lithium polymer 4490 mAh battery with a multimedia consumption time of roughly up to 10 hours, but it varies drastically depending on how you use it. If you are a very light user, expect it to last around maybe 7 days or maybe more. A medium user expect around 4 to 5 days, and a heavy user should expect around roughly 3 days, and this is all on medium brightness setting. Now coming to the reasons you'd want to buy such an older device. Probably are just looking for a good deal or something on a low budget. You just don't want to spend over $500 or even over $700 for an expensive brand new device, or you just do not need such an expensive device because you're a very low end user. You just want to do some reading. Maybe you don't like the Amazon Kindle, which is much cheaper. You just want an iPad just for the sake of it. You just want to browse lightly Facebook a bit. The browser you can use that also. The mail, iBooks is perfect for like things like slides. If you're a student, I use iBooks mainly for my slides. I use this device more than my iPad Air 2 when it comes to my college slides. It's a bit slow on iBooks as you saw there, but it's totally usable for college slides and stuff like that. I use that mainly for that. It's much more convenient taking this around than taking a large iPad Air 2. So for books and slides, college slides, it's just perfect. You can keep your books and all stuff, PDF stuff on this. That's a good use for a student. But like that, like you see here, it gets a bit slow to load larger files. Like this is a physics slide. It has a lot of slightly graphic intensive things. It takes some time to load. You might have to tolerate this a bit, as you can see. But if you're going to use like light books, just things without photos and diagrams and stuff like that, iBook should work perfectly for you in that sense. So that's one app I mainly use. Mail is another app that you'd probably want to buy this for. You don't want to play games and stuff. You're a serious person. You just want to check mail, and mail works fine on this. It's an app that will be never outdated. It's a built-in system app. It's a part of the system, so it will never be outdated. You can use the browser still. It will work perfectly for many years to come. Browsers do not slow down, as I've seen with many devices. The videos, contacts, FaceTime, all those good stuff, you can still use those. Maps, I don't think Apple Maps being not as good as Google Maps, you're not going to use them. But general internet browsing, music, mail, stuff like that, this device is perfect for you if you're going just searching for stuff like that. Because in a few years time, it's not going to support most of the other apps. And buy this only if you really want to like use the bottom line of stuff, just general multimedia consumption. You also can watch YouTube videos on the Safari browser someday if the YouTube app runs out of support for you. So as a final word, I gave you all the specification and details, and it's up to you. I'd say unless you're a person who really wants to scratch the bottom here, who doesn't want to spend so much money on a brand new iPad and stuff like that, and you just want to use the basic apps like browsing, mail, stuff like that, iBooks, then this is just totally perfect for you. You can get a used one off eBay, probably get a refurbished one from, you won't get an Apple refurbished one anyway, you can get a user refurbished one. Shops usually buy old ones and refurbish them. They're slightly more expensive, but then at least they have a new battery and stuff like that. Unless you want to do things like that, like the bottom end of everything, just buy this. But otherwise, if you're looking for a bit more intensive stuff like gaming and stuff like that, you can go for the iPad mini 2, which is just slightly more expensive, like slightly more expensive than this. You can get that for around above $250 to $300 used. Or if you really want to go all out, you can go for the iPad mini 3 or the 4, but used ones are also kind of expensive. But I just said those as like an alternative option because this is a really old device. Now my one's 4 years old. It hasn't slowed down much, but when in terms of app support and all, it seems to be lagging behind. Web pages take some time to load, YouTube videos take some time to load, but in general it's okay just for normal use. Like I said, for viewing slides and your college work, it's just totally fine. And yeah, the decision is up to you. And this is the end of this video. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more videos like this. Thank you.